Well, my friends, the fitness challenge has come and gone, and I'm pleased to report our department is shrinking. You know, when we put out this fitness challenge 120 days or so ago, a lot of people said they were very interested in it, but they didn't want to be on camera. Well, that's when Howie stepped up to the plate and said, I'll put it all out, so to speak, on camera, and I'll take a chance and see if motivation by embarrassment would in fact maybe help me lose my weight and get a little more fit. Here's what happened. I must tell you, if many people decided to challenge me on camera, I would not have even made the top 5 weight loss winners, and I lost nearly 30 pounds. All of my numbers have improved markedly, and I can honestly tell you I feel much healthier. It's much easier to jump rope and for longer periods, as well as hit the pull-up bar or just simply knock out 75 push-ups in less than a minute. Big improvement there. My thanks to all who gave me encouragement and who gave other fellow department members the go-get-em attitude and support. Many people have asked, how did you do it? Well, here's what I learned over the last 120 days. This is what worked for me. 3 key words you need: motivation, focus, and commitment. One main goal and several along the way mini goals, and a way to measure and track your progress. And of course, a bathroom scale. First off, the hardest part is simply getting started and sticking to it. After 4 or 5 days, you start to develop what I call positive momentum. You start to see a little bit of weight loss, maybe a little less tightness in the belt, and therefore it kind of propels you to go forward. Secondly, I found out, as many of you probably know, carbs are not our friends when we're trying to lose weight. I think it's probably more important to cut out more carbs than it is fat grams. Either way, carbs or fat grams, need to cut out a lot of those. Some things that are very common sense. I've replaced a lot of red meat with a lot of white meat. I've replaced a lot of fast food joints, if you will, with much healthier meals. Never did I cut out everything for a continual time. Some of my favorite snacks I would eat, just not as often and not as much. Full strength sodas. I probably have what I used to have in one day, I have in 1 week, or maybe even 2 or 3 weeks. You just have to learn to find some foods that are what I call free foods and drinks that I call free drinks, where there's very limited calories in either one. So therefore, when you're hungry or thirsty, you can eat or drink as much of those as you want. That was a big key. Remember, no one has ever gained 10 pounds from eating 1 ice cream cone. The key word there is 1, and not 1 a day either. Over the last 120 days, I certainly had my share of cheat meals, but they were much less often, and when I did have them, I would eat less of them when I had them. So I still had an enjoyable time, just not as often. And I can tell you, once you get used to that, it really is much easier. And just briefly before we go here, a few strategy tips. Don't be gone all day long when you know that 5-6 hours after you've eaten, you're going to be at a mall near the food court, and it's still going to be another hour before you get home. The temptation to have fast food, pizza, burgers, whatever ice cream that is your weakness, your willpower is much more reduced when you're just starving and haven't eaten in 5-6 hours. So plan ahead as to where you're going to be when you're going to be hungry. You've had many people over the years tell you it's better to have smaller meals more often than larger meals, 2 or 3 times. I agree with that, and I think that also worked for me. The key is you've got to find what works for you, because if you're hungry all day long, it's only going to be a temporary diet as opposed to a lifestyle change that everyone keeps talking about. So there you have it. I've lost about 30 pounds or so, and I think I really can lose probably 10 more, but I've been doing it gradually, and it really hasn't been that difficult. Once you get the positive momentum, it really makes it easier to stay motivated and say, hey, you know what, I ate a little too much at that favorite restaurant last night. I'm going to cool it for a few days. And you must have that bathroom scale in there where you can closely monitor your progress, so when you do slip a couple of pounds, you can bring yourself right back in check. One of the meals that the guys at the station are definitely tired of watching me eat is chicken, broccoli, or green beans, and a very small amount of mashed potatoes, which is my pizza, if you will, to most of you. Tremendous amount of unsweetened applesauce. Before, it used to be Oreos or Reese's Cups. Now it's unsweetened applesauce. And as I said, very few full-strength sodas. A lot of people question how healthy diet sodas are. I can tell you this, if you're trying to lose weight, they're much better than full-strength sodas. Howie is a hamburger junkie. I love hamburgers. The thicker, the better. I can tell you, I've cut those out of my diet at least 80%, and when I do have them, they usually are a lot smaller. And let me tell you, when you're about ready to fall off the wagon, so to speak, and you're out and you're passing a fast food joint, and you think, gosh, I really need to eat something, fine, do it occasionally, but don't get the half-pound burger and the supersized fry and the large soda that's full strength. A lot of times what I would do is I would get the kids meal and I would get a diet soda. So I'd have a very small hamburger, very small amount of fries, and a diet soda. So if you're going to cheat, cheat little, especially if it's not on your scheduled cheat list. One of my favorite places to eat or cheat, however you want to look at it, is Outback. Now, the way I go to Outback, I can't lose weight. I like to get their prime rib or good-sized steak with 2 baked potatoes, broccoli with lots of butter, and 4 or 5 Cokes. So therefore, if you are going to go to Outback while you're on a weight reduction time as opposed to, and believe me, there is a difference between weight reduction and weight maintaining. Weight maintaining is much easier, obviously. But anyways, if you're at Outback, don't go that often if you're going to eat what I eat when you go there, or just get their chicken or whatever. In other words, a lot of this is common sense, but what I'm stressing is trying to lose 15, 20, 25, 30 pounds does not mean goodbye to Outback or goodbye to your favorite pizza or goodbye to, McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, wherever you like to eat. Just be sensible, especially when you're trying to lose the weight. And you can still go there reasonably often if you're trying to maintain your weight once you get to that goal.
A lot of people would call this a diet meal, and they'd be right. Very little fat or carbs in the chicken, a few good carbs, as they call it, in the broccoli and the green beans, very little fat in the potatoes with obviously a little amount of carbs. But you can see the portion, very few potatoes compared to the rest of the meal. So this is probably 75% of the meals I've eaten in the last 120 days. Maybe not all you can do that. Also have some unsweetened applesauce in between as opposed to a Reese's cup or an Oreo or a row of Oreos. Anyways, I think the key is when I'm done eating this, I'm full, just as full as I'd be if I had a steak and a baked potato at Outback. If you're not full and you're hungry most of the time, it's just a matter of time before you fall off the wagon. If you're nice and content, this will last me 4 hours easily. This is what works for me. Hope maybe it might help you.
Anyways, I hope this has somewhat helped you. It definitely helped me without the fear of gaining weight on camera and telling everyone I was going to do it. I don't know if I would have had the motivation to be successful at it. So to all those guys out there that I've seen that have lost even more weight than me, wow, great job, keep it up. Especially in our job, it's a great thing to do. And hopefully we'll have a challenge coming up before long. Maybe we can do who can do the most push-ups in a minute or so, and we can get a lot more participation. I certainly understand people not wanting to be on camera. Many times I don't want to be there, and everyone out there right now might be saying this is a good time to get off. So with that, I will get off and say thanks very much, and let's get back to something that has to do with training.